Extremely excited, honored, and privileged, not just to be here at the IFFI Film Festival, but also to speak about Mr. Raj Kapoor. It's really luck that I was born in this family, and I'm extremely grateful and proud about everything that he's done for the films, for the film industry, and I'm really happy to talk anything about it. So thank you so much for being here. Love you too.
Ranbir, I find myself extremely lucky to be here today. I worked with Raj Kapur. He was my guru. I worked with your father, who was more than a childhood friend. And now I'm here with you, which is like being with a son. So being with 3 generations, I think, is a great thing. So we are here to talk about Raj Sandra here. What has his influence been on you? I know you were very young when he passed away.
Yeah, I think that's always been such a large question. I've always been asked this question wherever I've gone since the time I've been in the film industry. I think when I could remember anything in life, I remembered him as a grandfather, as Dadaji, who was this big man with blue eyes. When me and my sister, when we went to his house, he used to take us to his room and he used to hide these caramel toffees in his fridge. And he used to make us stand in a line, all of us, all the cousins, Karina, Karishma, my sister, myself. And he used to ask us to do salam and to sing Awara Hu and to give him a kiss on his cheek. And then we were bribed with a caramel toffee. So that is, so my memories of him are very personal. I got to know him more after I started understanding movies, after I started understanding who he was, what his contribution was. Of course, me being the first grandson who, with the name Kapoor in the family, so I of course got a lot of love and attention. Whenever my mom used to fire me or shout at me, I used to call him up, and he used to call up my mom and fire her, so I used that as a leverage also. So like every grandkid with their grandfather, my relationship with him was that. He passed away when I was 6 years old, and I still remember I have this vivid memory that, of course, I didn't know what death was and all of those things, but we were in Devnar cottage, and all the children were upstairs playing, and we were looking down in the garden, and we could just see a sea of people. I've never seen so many people in my life, and I really understood that day, okay, this man has some standing, has some value, he's done something, that's why so many people have come to pay him respect. So that memory will always stay with me, especially when they took his body, and there was, the entire Chimbu road was filled with people. So these are my early memories of him.
I remember the day you were born, and Sav was ecstatic. It's the first grandson, and I could see that pleasure in his eyes, which I'm sure, I wish he was here today to see what you've achieved. It's really tremendous. Tell me, Ranbir, I just noted down a few things. As an actor, how do you interpret the themes he explored in his films?
I think Raj Kapoor, the filmmaker, always explored different themes at different times of his life. If you see his earlier films like Awara, which was based on casteism, it tells you a story about how an individual and the surroundings that he's been brought up in, what is that impact on that person and what that person becomes. If you see Sri Char Subis, he spoke about greed, about the underprivileged, and really trying to make something with their lives. And I think the latter part of, the last few films that he made, he really made strong films with, really strong Indian moral values, spoke about the society in such an honest and frank way, still making it really commercial and really entertaining. He made movies, woman-centric films, where he spoke about the oppression of a woman in a patriarchal society and against a misogynistic individual. If you see Prem Rogi spoke about widow remarriage. If you see talk about Ram Tiri Ganga Meli. He spoke about, he actually compared the protagonist Ganga to the river Ganga, how it starts so pure and by the time it reaches down because of society and human habits, you know, it really impures the person. So I think another big example I think of Mr. Raj Kapoor is after he made Mera Naam Joker, which was a colossal disaster. He lost so much of money, his house was mortgaged, and I hear so many stories from my family what was happening at that time. He had the courage to make a film with newcomers. You know, a 50-year-old man making a film for the youth. That means that he really kept with the times. You know, he was not stuck in a cocoon. He was not somebody who was, you know, high up in his ivory tower. He was constantly in touch with the common man. He was constantly in touch with the mass. He was constantly in touch with what kind of stories, you know, people would like to see. And really to make a film like Bobby at that time at the age of 50, which spoke to teenagers, is something which is truly amazing.
I remember those days because I was very much part of Bobby. And after Mera Naam Joker, with the financial problems he had, when he decided to make Bobby, and he told the unit, I'm making this film with a love story, a teenage love story. So we had the financial controller who said, very good, so make this teenage love story with Dharminder and Hema Malini. So he started laughing. He said, look, I'm going to make this with Chintu and with a new girl. And he said, how did he sell the film? He said, I'm not bothered. Through the making of the film, what I saw is, I saw Raj Kapoor make the film in exactly the way he made his early films, which is great credit to him. Tell me, which of his films has impacted you the most?
I think two films that come to my mind is Shri Charsobis. You know, I love the story of a vagabond, somebody who has stars in his eyes, very hopeful, and how he makes it, how he deals with fame. That's something which really spoke to me. I loved the music in the film, the performances, everything. And the second film, which is probably my favorite, is Jaagte Raho. It was a film that he didn't direct, but he acted and produced. And that film really spoke to me, especially at a time when I was in film school. You know, I was seeing films of different cultures, different countries. And when I saw Jaagte Raho, I was like, yeah, this should be up there with all the other films that we watch from all over the world, which are applauded and given accolades. So Jaagte Raho and Shri Charsobis. What about yours?
To me, the film which really, I think, apart from Bobby, which I was very close to my heart, was Prem Rogue. You know, and especially in Prem Rogue, the film and the way Chintu, your father, performed in that film. And tell me one thing, in your legacy, your grandfather was an actor-director. Your father was an actor-director. Any intention of you becoming an actor-director?
Absolutely. I actually always wanted to be a director. I myself went to a film school.
Why do you want us to lose our jobs? Tell me that.
No, I'm far from it. But yeah, you know, I realized that, you know, the opportunities of being an actor came easily. You know, I come from a privileged setting, so of course I had the opportunities, and I didn't want to take that for granted. I want to do my best. And the more I work with good directors, and I worked with a lot of good directors in the Hindi film industry, the more I realized what a hard and a selfless job direction is. Acting is tough too, but you know, it's far more easier than directing a movie. My grandfather directed, acted, produced, wrote, edited a film at the age of 24, which was Arc. Arc was at 24, right? Yeah, at the age of 24. I'm 42 today, you know, and I still don't have the courage to direct a film. I produced a movie called Jaga Jasoos, which again didn't work at the box office. But you know, it's something which definitely I have a burning ambition. I'm waiting for a story to come because, you know, a director should make a movie only if he has a story to tell, not just for the sake of making a movie.
So we can hope to see a movie which is going to be directed by you.
Absolutely, I hope so too.
And, I would love to see that and see how much is Raj Kapur.
But let me also tell you, when I was in film school, I made various short films which I have buried underground that nobody will ever see because they were so terrible and so bad that I'm extremely ashamed about it. So I have lots of work to do.
Tell me from in this film which you make, what is there anything from Raj Kapur's way of making films you'd like to invite?
I think, I guess मेरा मानना है कि Raj Kapoor was Raj Kapoor because he didn't really follow a model. You know, he constantly took risks, he constantly pushed the boundaries, he told different stories of different characters. So I think if you really want to take any kind of legacy forward, you have to do it in a very individualistic approach. I remember when I started working in movies, my father was always against my choices. You know, he always wondered, what kind of movies are you doing? What is Barfi and Wake Up Sid and Rocket Singh Salesman of the Year? You should do, you know, more commercial films and speak to a larger audience. But at that point of time, these films spoke to me and I could really engage myself with it and I could surrender myself to these parts in these movies. So I think what I mean to say is that, of course, we all are offshoots of movies that Mr. Raj Kapoor, Guru Dutt, Bimal Roy, Mehboob Khan, yourself, and all the great filmmakers, Mr. Shekhar Kapoor who's sitting here, we've all taken so much of inspiration. It's the way you say it. It's your perception of life. It's what you have absorbed, you know, as a person, and then you want to kind of just flow into that story, and that's why it's different. It's individualistic. So yeah, heavily influenced, but you have to be individualistic to really make a mark in any way.
Raj Sahib had great affinity for music, and he's had memorable songs. More than half the songs that they were composed by him, which your Bua used to play on the piano, and I heard songs from him when I joined him in '68. I heard songs which were used in Bobby and then in Ram Teri Ganga Meri. They were with him from all that time. How is that going to affect you? Is the music going to affect you?
I think first speaking about his music, I think he was very lucky to partner with such genius talents, you know, like Shankar Jaikishan, Lakshmikant Pyarelal, Mukesh, Lata Mangeshkar, lyricists like Hasrat Jaipuri, Shailendra, and I think they were truly close friends. And for them, making music was not work; it was a passion, you know. So to work the entire day, and then everybody used to come over, and then they used to just have the music sittings. So it was their way of parting, you know. They really enjoyed that process. And I think Raj Kapoor was a very learned man, you know. If it was literature, if it was music, if it was playing an instrument, it came very easy to him. So music has been such a big contribution to his career, you know. And then over the years, you know, I've often heard my father also say that music, if you hear today's music and you hear the music back then, there's so much of a difference in the poetry, in the writing, in the catchphrase of the song. Everything has become now like a reel, you know. It's just a minute. You have a minute of a good stanza, and that's enough. So it is kind of sad that, you know, music in Indian movies is kind of dying. Excuse me. But I hope, you know, I think music is so much a part of our culture, so much a part of our celebration. When we watch a Hindi movie, you know, we want to see it all. We want to see action, comedy, romance, emotion. We want to hear good songs. We want to dance. There are so many filmmakers now that I speak to who are working in my generation who are saying that they are finding it harder to write a story where they can incorporate music, where the protagonist, both the leads, where both the leads are singing songs. Of course, there are pros to it also, because today you can't have a movie based on a medical couple who are singing songs behind trees, you know, so there has to be some realism attached also. But I really hope that, you know, the music culture comes back, you know, and we celebrate music like how he used to.
See, Raj Sahib, when he had these songs made, which I heard way back in '68, he did not know who the hero would be, who the characters. And one of the songs was from Bobby, Jhoot Bole Kaua Kaate, something I heard in '68. Then I heard the one from Ram Teri Ganga Meri, Sun Saiba Sun. So these were just songs created which he finally found situations from. come back to
I think another thing which I've heard over the years that when he was making Sangam, one of my favorite films of his, he wanted to cast Vijayantimala and her name was Radha, and she was not agreeing to do the film. So he sent her a text. I don't know what it used to be called at that time.
it was a telegram.
A telegram.
And that was...
Sorry? It wasn't a call, it was like a telegram.
It was a telegram he sent her.
So he said, Bol Radha Bol, Sangam Hoga Ke Nahi, like the word Sangam, and she sent a telegram back saying, Hoga, Hoga, Hoga.
That's right.
And that became the song.
That's right, that became the song. See, he would find any situation. But I must tell you something which is a little strange and a little funny about songs. It's in my book, I think you've read it. At a song sitting for Mere Naam Joker, I first time went for a sitting, and there was Raj Kapoor, Shankar ji, Jai Kishan ji, Hasrat Saab, Shailendra ji, Mukesh ji. So all these stalwarts, for me it was a great fanboy moment, seeing all these people together. And they got down to discussing the song. And like all music directors have dummy words in a song just to get a sense. When Shankarji started singing the dummy words, I did not know if I should jump out of a window or I should, just bang my head and die. Because he sang the dummy words, jitni maa bahan ki gaaliyan thi, which you could imagine. There was this man singing with all these maa bahan ki gaaliyan. And I was shocked, hearing that. And then discussion ही हो रहा था कि एक काम करते हैं, even your grandfather, शंकर एक काम करते हैं, वो माँ की change करके बहन की कर देते हैं. So this is how they went, this is how, and they made great songs out of it. And your grandfather very fond of eating. I think that was in your family. Are you a foodie also?
I am, but in today's day and age, it's become an occupational hazard. You have to. It's a visual medium, so you can't let loose. So I've had my mother's side also, who's always kind of controlling. She's always, put it in our heads that you have to be healthy, and you look at your family. They have so many problems of, ailments and all of that. So I've really taken more towards my mom's side than father's side. Not out of choice, just because I knew that I had to be an actor and I had to listen to him.
Yeah, I've seen your father eating a piece of pav, putting a jalebi in that, with butter and jalebi, and eating that. And I said, sir, what are you eating? He said, is it written anywhere that I can't? I said, no, it's not written, but it's not done. He said, there's a better way to eat it. And he dipped it in tomato ketchup.
I remember another story, I think, of Mr. Raj Kapoor, when they all were staying together in Chimbur, and he had to be on a diet because he had to start shooting Mughal-e-Azam, I think, at that time. And he told my grandmother that I need to be on a diet, so start, give me some diet food. So she gave him a salad to eat, and he ate the salad. And after the salad, he told his chef to bring the real food because he's had his diet khana. Now he'll have the real food. So I don't think they understood the concept of diet at that age, that time.
With your legacy, and I'm sure you'll make a very good film. I hope so. And you have the blessing of your father, one of the most gifted actors we've ever had. And your fourth generation, you'll be the fourth generation of filmmakers over there. 5 generations, your 4 generations have worked in the film.
Yeah.
That was in Awara. Your great-grandfather, Awadi's father was there, Raj Kapur was there, Dad was there, Shami uncle was there, and Dabu Saab was there. So
also, Mr. Raj Kapoor's father was the judge.
Yeah, he was there also, that. So we really look forward to this.